everybody. This is Joe from What I'm Playing Now. We're back here at Cleveland ConCoction again. We're doing another live stream. I have Elliot here. And this is his game, Obelisk Deluxe. This is something that they are self-publishing. Him and his wife have designed this game. And one of the boards we have here, which I think this is actually really cool looking, this is a laser etched edition of the game that you can actually do as a print and play, you were saying.
Yeah, that's correct. We have it on Instructables as a print and play, and this is on 1/8" plywood, so you can actually get some nice thick material on there. And it has pretty much everything you need. It has all the map tiles that you need, all the monsters you need. Pretty much just bring dice and print out the board, the manual, which is also online.
Cool. This, I will say, this looks very impressive in person. If you can't tell from me just holding it up here on the video, but we're going to set this off to the side. Maybe set that on the chair right over there. And we're going to flip the screen over to our overhead view. We have the board here of the game. We're down here on the bottom. We're going to start playing the game. Elliot's going to teach this to me because I have not played this game yet.
All right, it's going to be awesome.
I want to hand you basically the table here.
So this is a co-op, Obelisk is a co-op tower defense strategy game that the wife and I have been working on for the last year. In this game, we play as advisors to the Queen. She is actually off on holiday. She left us in charge. She basically said, nice. Let's make sure nothing bad happens while I'm gone. So that's great. And of course, as soon as the Queen leaves,
something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. We know how this goes. So basically, monsters started pouring out of this portal as soon as the Queen left. And this is generally bad. And the monsters that we're going to be competing against here in this game are over here. So we have our purple monsters, which are going to be speedy and fast, but have low health. And you can see this on the player guides over here. So purple monsters.
You know what? I'm going to stop you real quick.
Yeah.
Let me change. I didn't change the name over to Obelisk on my Twitch channel.
Oh.
And let me see if I can do that real quick on the fly. I'm sorry, everybody.
That's all right.
I want to actually update this so people know what we're actually playing. And this is Obelisk Deluxe. That was the one thing I forgot to do. Sorry, everybody. Hopefully this will let me update while we're actually live streaming.
I guess we'll see.
Two-player run through. And let's update. Update. Okay.
All right.
Sorry about that.
That's no problem.
That's our first technical difficulty, but hopefully our only one.
So basically on our player guides here, you can see that our purple monsters basically have a speed of 4 and a strength of 1. Meanwhile, our red monsters, these are like our slow, beefy guys. So they're going to move only 2 tiles per turn, but they have a strength of 5. All of our monsters are going to go into our game bag, so we're not going to know which monsters are coming out of the portal when.
All right, all right.
And we're going to be getting 6 of these guys out of the portal every turn. So basically, the way that we can, what we have to do in this game is we have to capture all of these monsters that are going to come out of the game bag.
All right.
The way that we do that is by placing our towers down strategically on the map, since this is a strategy game.
Mm-hmm.
And our towers are basically going to be used to capture those monsters. So any tower you place down on the map, you can put it on the edge of the map, or you can actually put it in these little,
I see now.
The square cutouts.
I see where you're going now.
It's almost like it was built for it.
Yeah, it's wow.
Surprising.
Look at that.
So whenever you put a dice down, it's going to go down as a 1, and then when our monsters come out of our portal here, that dice is going to have an opportunity to capture monsters that surround it, basically. Mm-hmm. So to see if you can actually, to determine if the tower can actually capture a monster, there's 3 things you need to look at. You need to look at the strength of the dice, the tile that the monster is on, and the strength of the monster. So this purple monster only has a strength of 1.
Okay.
Like it says on the player guide. This tile has no modifiers, so there's no tile modifiers on here, and the dice has a strength of 1, which basically means that dice can capture that monster. Now, if we had, say, a big beefy guy that has 5 health come out here, this level 1 dice is completely inadequate to capturing that. So we would have to upgrade that dice several times, at least to a 5, to capture this guy. Now, the tile modifiers, as you'll see on some of these tiles, our forest tiles say dice -1, which essentially means that if you're trying to capture a monster in the forest, it's going to be a little bit harder.
Right.
So in this case, we have a strength 1 dice in attacking a monster in the forest, and the monster is a purple monster, one of our weak monsters, one strength, and it can't capture it because the tile modifier basically decreases the tower strength. But if we upgraded this to a level 2, now it's 2 minus 1, which is 1, versus the 1 strength. It can capture it.
Okay.
So that basically means that as we're looking at the board here, the easiest place to capture the monsters is going to be in the grass as well as in the portal, from the portal itself. So we have some grass here starting next to the portal, and we also have some grass over here. It's going to be slightly harder to capture monsters here in the forest, and it's going to be pretty hard to capture monsters in the crystals because the crystals are -2.
Right.
So let's see, placing towers is we get to do one of these 3 build actions each turn.
Okay.
So placing towers is one of those actions. The other action that we get to do is actually we get to rotate tiles. And of course I forgot to put the rotation tokens down here. But that's okay because I have them right here.
There we go.
So we get to, each tile can be rotated once during the game.
All right.
And the rotation tokens will indicate which tiles have been rotated and which ones haven't. So if a rotation token is on a tile, it basically means you can still rotate it.
Okay.
And by rotating it basically means you can pick this tile up and turn it any way you want. And that's useful because you get to direct the monster path in this game. That's what our arrows are for.
The blue arrows are for. I was wondering what those were for. Okay, the monster movement. I
exactly.
Gotcha.
So think of them as like signposts in the land, and you're basically switching which direction these signposts go.
Right.
And the monsters are, well, they're not too intelligent, right? So they're kind of blindly following the signposts.
As monsters sometimes tend to be.
Yeah. But don't underestimate these guys. So they're pretty tricky. Even though they're just blindly following the signs, they can still, I guess, triumph over us. So our goal here is to, of course, capture all of our monsters. There's actually 3 ways we can lose. The way number 1 is if the monsters walk off the board. So for example, if our spawn tile here was pointed out, so our arrow is pointed right off the board.
Okay.
So monsters would immediately come into an existence and they would immediately walk off into the world.
All right.
And the queen would be very, very unhappy with us if that happened. The other way that we can lose the game is if monsters walk into the mountains. If they walk into the mountains, they basically set up a base up there, and we don't want that to happen either.
Okay.
So we have a couple mountains in here that we're going to have to avoid directing the monsters onto. The last way that we can lose is actually if a monster steps on the same tile twice. So these monsters, they are slightly magical in that their footsteps basically form little runes on the ground. So if their footsteps ever form a complete loop, that's going to open up a larger portal. And so right now, what we see here is our start tile is pointed toward the grass, and the grass is pointed back at the start tile. So if we have a monster that comes out, and on turn 1, it'll take a step to walk through the portal, and then it'll take a step over here to the grass. Now, if we had this rotation token here on the grass, we could rotate that to prevent it from walking back onto the same tile twice.
Right.
But if we didn't, for some reason, if we chose not to rotate this tile, or if the tile didn't have the rotation marker on it, our red monster here would step back onto the portal, creating a closed loop, which would open up a larger portal, and all the monsters come out, and we would lose.
Oh, wow. Oh,
so
okay,
those
that's game ending.
That's game ending.
Holy cow.
That's
Okay,
game ending.
don't
So-
want that.
So
That's
remember,
a bad thing.
3 ways to lose. Monsters walk off the board, monsters walk into the mountains, or monsters walk in a loop. And only one way to win, which is we must capture all of the monsters.
All right. So this is a cooperative style game.
It is indeed.
Semi-cooperative, cooperative,
It is just
co-op?
going to be straight co-op.
Okay.
So if your gaming group involves is made up out of super alpha players, you might not enjoy this game as much.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. So the type of actions that we can do during our turn, like I said, we can place towers. Towers go with the 1 up. You can also rotate up to 2 tiles. So any tiles that have rotation tokens on them can be rotated as far as you want.
All right.
In any direction. And the last action you can do is upgrading a tower. So if there is a tower on the board, you can pay monsters, or you can basically pay monsters that we've captured
Okay.
in order to upgrade that, and that upgrade is going to get you 1 pip essentially.
Okay.
And we can also share resources on here. So, for example, one of the combinations is 2 red monsters will get you an upgrade. So I have a red monster, and you have a red monster. So we could combine these, toss these in the game box to get our dice to a level 2.
All right.
And that's going to be key to basically upgrading our dice because our yellow monsters have a strength of 3. So, which means our dice is going to have to at least be a strength of 3 to capture the yellows. And the red monsters have a strength of 5. So it's going to be at least 5 to capture those guys.
Right, and I see that they all have different movement as well. How many spaces they move?
They do have different movement, yeah. So the purple monsters are going to move 4 tiles, and then the yellows are going to move 3, and the reds are going to move 2.
Okay.
We get to do. It's actually in the 2-player game. We each get to choose 2 of these actions. So you could place 2 towers, or you could place a tower and rotate 2 tiles, that type of thing. One thing to note about the upgrades here is you can actually sacrifice one of your dice to pay for an upgrade for a tower that's on the board. That's going to be key as we go forward. We aren't actually going to get these dice back ever, these towers. We're never going to get them back once we've sacrificed them.
Okay.
But it's kind of one of the trade-offs that you have to make. It might be painful, but if it gets you that upgrade that lets you capture that yellow monster, which is about to end the game, then it's important that you can make that sacrifice.
You have 4 dice, I have 4 dice, but there's a heck of a lot more than 8 spaces here.
This is true. We have a lot of options on where we can place our dice. Some of those options are perhaps more optimal than others.
Yeah, so I could kind of see a strategy where you're basically doing the rotation as well as dice placement to work together.
Absolutely.
Is kind of where I can kind of start to see a strategy for this already. Kind of like thinking through, since I've never played this before, that's kind of where my brain is heading right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And typically at the start of the game, the first thing we're thinking about is generally how do we want to route these monsters around.
Right.
So like we have this forest over here, which is essentially kind of saying that if we want to make use of these, I guess this is a mountain. We have this mountain over here. If we want to make use of the forest over here, we're actually going to kind of have to choose a direction. Are we going to go clockwise around this or counterclockwise around this? And there's going to be implications for each choice. So let's see. I guess to start off, I will take one of my 2 actions here, and let's see. So we want to, our portal right now is going down this way. Are we okay with that, or do we want to push them over to the side?
I'm guessing we probably want to push them over to the side because we probably don't want them to go onto the yellow tile because, like what you said, they will bounce back then. So that's...
Yeah, so we can push them over here. So here that will be 1. So now they're walking out of the portal onto the grass, and then they're walking onto the crystals, and I will actually turn this.
Yeah.
So that is one of my actions here. So rotate 2 tiles, that's 1 action. And then for a second action, I'm going to go ahead and place a tower down to capture a monster.
Okay.
So I'm just going to kind of put that right over here. And basically what I'm thinking is I will capture some monsters that are coming out of the portal immediately.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm thinking with that. So on your turn, what you should think about is our fastest monster is actually only going to go 4 spots, right? So a purple monster coming out of here is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. It's going to wait there for us to take another turn.
Okay.
So you have a lot of choices now. You could choose to kind of rearrange more of the path over here, or you could say, you know what, we'll arrange the path on the next turn. Because this turn I want to put one of my towers down.
I was going to say, let's definitely get another tower down. When do the monsters take damage? Do they take damage the minute they hit the board, or in their final spot that they move to? I guess
it's actually a transition, right? Okay. So if you have if this purple monster comes out here, this tower is going to be able to attack him anytime it's when they start, when they move past. If they end there and stop there, that basically just gets you away from having to count tiles and this type of thing, which is generally not what people want to do when they're playing a board game.
Yeah. So I'm thinking let's probably put one down. Ooh, do I want to go there, or do I want to maybe go here, where they're probably going to be moving to? Let's go there.
Sounds great.
And
I could help you upgrade that tower if you want.
Yeah, that may not be a bad idea.
I can give you a red there, so combined, you could take your second action
and upgrade that to a 2 tower.
Absolutely.
And then we'll actually be sitting pretty good to get rid of some monsters there.
Excellent. Okay, so now we've both taken both of our actions. So you can flip your tile over if you want to.
Ready for monsters.
Ready for monsters. So why don't I let you go ahead and pick 6 monsters from there and put them right next to the portal. Yeah, it's going to be 6 monsters every turn. It's
let's pick 2 a pop. There's 2 purples. That's a good start.
2 purples. We'll be able to capture both of those guys.
Oh, we got a red. All right, there's 2, 4, 6. Okay, so
All right,
good mixture.
so that's actually not so bad.
Mostly purples.
So here we go. So we'll have the purples go first, and they are going to move 4 spaces. So they go 1, stepping through the portal. I can immediately capture 1. Now each tower is only going to be able to capture 1 monster per turn, regardless of its strength, right? So your tower over here still only going to capture 1, even though it has a strength of 2 right now. It's going to capture 1, and then they're going to go 3, 4.
All right.
So that's as far as they move. The yellows are going to move 3, 1, 2, 3, and the reds are going to move 2, 1, 2.
Cool.
That's the end of their movement phase.
All right.
We get to take our monsters that we've captured. I'll give you that one right there.
All right.
And now it's back to us to make our choices on what actions we want to perform.
Yeah. So I can give you a purple to do.
That is absolutely correct.
Upgrade a tower.
Yeah.
It
So
looks
I will
like 3
take
purple,
those 3
upgrade a tower.
purples. I can upgrade your tower here.
Oh, so we can upgrade each other's towers.
Yeah,
that's
the
All
thinking. I mean, it is cooperative, so that is the general theme of things.
That makes sense.
So that was one of my actions, was upgrading that tower, and I think for the second one of my actions, I think we should turn this tile here so these monsters don't wander off into the world. So should we go around this way or should we go down? Maybe
I was thinking of going off to the right,
off to the
but
right.
if we do that, then we need to. On my turn, I would need to move both of those tiles.
That's true.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, I would only be able to move 2, and I think over here they would stop but not go back.
Yeah, that's true.
So we would still be safe. We would still be safe.
Okay.
So that's something because I was then thinking of coming up this way, but I'd like to bring them around this way maybe.
Okay.
And kind of ferry them up through that way. That's
let's do it and see what
going.
happens. So let me rotate that. I'll change that signpost and this one. All right, and that's my actions. So I'm all set, and it's over to you for your actions.
Now, when you actually upgraded the die, can you spin both of those? Oh, you can rotate 2 tiles. Okay.
Yeah, you can rotate 2 tiles.
I thought it was only 1 tile. Yep.
That is correct.
I gotcha. All right, so I'm going to actually have to rotate some tiles too because we got to get that corner fixed up. So I need to bring them coming our way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to remove this and spin this. So this way they'll come up there. Now,
that's great.
I can actually.
Yeah, we don't actually have to rotate this one, right?
Right.
It's already going the right way, so we can actually take the rotation token off there because we're not gonna change it. But you actually have one more.
Since
rotation,
I have one more rotation, I'm wondering if I should maybe. I'm trying to think how we want to do that. Do we want to bring them up to this one?
Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah, we could. I think that would be great. Yeah, then that makes that area right in there next to the grass a good place for another tower.
Yeah.
Which is going to be useful because these 2 towers up here are only going to be able to capture so many monsters, right? I mean, we already have purple monsters bleeding over, so I think further on. So that was my. I just rotated 2 tiles. Okay.
So I still actually have one more action, I think.
Okay.
Because I just rotated. So I was thinking, let's put down a tower like what you were just saying.
Absolutely. Grab some of those purples when they come down.
Do we want it to go right here?
Yeah, I think that's
a
great.
spot?
Yeah, if it went down here, then it'd be blocked by the mountains.
Right,
you wouldn't get anything additional. Here, at least we have the possibility of maybe capturing something there.
Yeah, as they're coming up this path there. Okay.
Yeah. So now that we have monsters on the board, the main thing to remember about kind of the monster movement phase, which is now the phase that we're in, is that monsters that are furthest down the path are going to move first. So that means these purples, not because they're the fastest, but just because they are the furthest down the path, these are going to move first.
Okay.
Now, before they move, you actually have a choice with this red tower here. Your red tower is strong enough to capture one of these purples before they leave.
Gotcha.
However, that will mean that if a yellow comes out of the bag, you won't be able to capture that yellow as it's crossing over the grass here.
Now, can I capture that yellow that's already out there?
You cannot, because that yellow is on a crystal. So it's on -2. So effectively, you would have to have a strength of 5 to attack on that crystal.
Okay, just noticed that.
So it's
All
up to
right.
you. You're in control of the red tower, I believe. So it's up to you to make the strategic decision here on if you're going to let those purples go, or if you're going to try and capture one.
I'm thinking we can probably capture the purples up over here. There's an even number. There's an even distribution of colors in the bag.
That is correct. There's 12 of each monster on the normal setting.
There's a good chance you're going to see a yellow each round.
I would say
so.
so.
Let's let the purples move on, and let's try to capture a yellow if it comes there.
Sounds great.
If we can get one coming.
So
there.
our purples are going to move 4. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're not strong enough to capture one of them but on the next turn when they move over here, you'll be able to grab one. The yellow moves 3, 1, 2, 3. And the red moves 2, 1, 2. And now I will take another 6 monsters out of the bag
So six monsters come out every turn.
It's going to be every turn.
Okay,
yes.
that's
1, 2, 3, 4.
There's our yellow.
Yep. So that was a good call, right? That was a good call. Here, I'll move these guys first. 1, I'll capture them.
Yep.
2, 3, 4. Now technically you could have grabbed that purple, but yellow's coming.
Yep. We want to grab at least that one yellow.
1, 2. There we go.
Yeah.
All the monsters have moved. I'll grab
we're not
that.
doing that bad. I'll grab that yellow there.
Excellent.
I like this.
Excellent.
This is neat. I like the usage of the dice. We'll talk about that at the end. Let's just keep playing. Let's keep playing. Let's not review anything right now. Let's just play.
All right. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is change this guy right here. So like you were saying before, to do a little zigzagginess over here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna rotate this up. I'm going to rotate this to the side.
Right, so that's your first action.
So that's my first action. And then for my second action, I'm kind of actually thinking I might want to join you down here. Because I want to capture one of those purples before it runs too far. So like if I put my tower here, it still has good kind of coverage over here.
Right.
Now if I do something like this, it only has coverage here, but maybe as we go later in time, we'll be coming down in this area, so I might be able to capture them at some later time, maybe? I'm not 100% sure on this. I'm just going to leave it like that. We'll see how it goes.
Looks good to me.
Sounds good.
I say thumbs up.
Thumbs up on that one. Excellent.
All right, so my turn.
Yes.
So I don't think I need to rotate anything.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to lose this turn if you don't rotate something, right? Because we're in a great position to capture both of those purples.
Right. So I think the purple's coming along. I would love to upgrade a tower, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, and I only have this purple, right? So it's not enough resources to share with you.
And it's 3 yellow to do an upgrade.
Yes. You can sacrifice one of the dice that you have.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. That seems a little risky.
All right, later.
That just seems... That seems crazy talk. That's just, I don't know. That just doesn't seem. So let's, like you said, we're going to be able to capture those 2 purples. But it would be nice.
So we can think of basically, if you're not going to upgrade, then basically we have 2 options. We have the placing a tower. And so like placing a tower, basically the place down here, this is going to be end game for us, right? If we can't capture them by the time that they've kind of wiggled their way through here, then they're going to win. Or the other option is, rotating the tiles and setting more of the path. Yeah. So that's kind of the 2 choices.
I'm thinking let's do a tower.
Okay.
And I'm thinking right here might be a good spot.
Okay. So that means basically this is kind of like the medium game area right now. We do have good coverage on this already. Well, we'll see how it goes.
I was going to either go here or here to start building up an end game 1.
Yeah.
And if I do that, I'm wondering if I should just go over here by the forest.
That's actually what I would strongly recommend. Over here by the grass, because you're probably not going to capture that many monsters in the crystals. But it does give us this for the end.
Kind of like to get them right before they go off the board.
Exactly.
So I don't really know if I want to put out my blast die yet. Okay. So I'm guessing let's do 2 rotations.
Yeah,
let's see how we want to rotate. We got them coming through here.
Yeah.
Coming up here. I'm guessing we need to change these 2.
Sure.
So I think we need to rotate this one to come up, and this one to actually come over your way like this.
Yeah.
And we can just maybe feed them and then go back down and then back up.
Yeah, I think that's great. And we can also, on tiles that we know we're not going to rotate anymore, we can actually take the tokens off, right? So this one, that one's pretty much set. We're not going to be rotating that one. And this one, we want this guy to go down.
Yeah.
So I can go ahead and take that one off. Just cleans up the board a little bit more. Oh, and then we got this one over here. Snag that guy. Right. Let's let these monsters move.
Let's go.
All right, so here we go. I pointed to it, but quick quiz. Which monsters move first?
I believe these purple ones will move first since they are furthest along the path.
That is correct. So let's go ahead and move them. So they're going to go one,
and I can capture one.
Two, and I capture the other one.
So we got the two purples.
And then the yellow monster is going to move.
1, 2, 3.
And then these guys in the back are going to move.
Yep.
So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4.
And then 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yep.
1, 2, and if you would do the honors,
I will pull out 6 more. Although sometimes
it's going to be all red.
That 6 just seems rough.
We have yet to see 6 reds being pulled. We played a lot of games.
Oh, really?
We have not seen a 6 reds being pulled.
Well, we're not seeing it right now,
and
I'm quite happy
We're
with
not
that.
in the edge case, people. It's okay. It's okay. All right.
Sooner or later, you'll probably hear somebody say,
"Oh yeah, they'll probably give us some bad forum posts or something." Right? There we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. You can capture one there.
Yeah.
And 3. And 1, and I captured that one right there. All right.
Excellent. So we actually did pretty good there.
I think we did. We captured a bunch of purples. So I have enough purples for an upgrade, and you have your monsters here.
Yep.
So it looks like you don't quite have enough for an upgrade
like
there.
One short.
Yeah, one short. Now, interesting enough, the reds are wild, right? So if you had a red, you could have joined it with one, like the purple group or the yellow group to kind of fill that group out. But we haven't captured any red monsters yet. Let's see. So what to do? I'm thinking it's time to upgrade some of our towers here in the medium area. We have a yellow monster that's over there. So.
Yeah, he kind of stuck through there.
This is true. So it's like either I'm thinking like we'll upgrade one of these or maybe one of these in the back. I guess the question is we also have these red guys that are kind of slowly marching through.
Yeah.
So do you think we're going to be able to get one of these towers up to a 5 before they're going to pass us by?
1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know. It's if you can upgrade.
I have one upgrade. I'd be willing to sacrifice a tower to help out.
I was going to say, if you can upgrade one of these to almost like a 3, that would capture the yellow, which would let me then do an upgrade.
And then, so you could get 2 upgrades next turn if I do 2 upgrades this turn?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do that.
I think so.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put this dice in the game box. We can upgrade either one. I'm going to do this one. Bam. And I'm going to sacrifice these purple monsters as well. Here we go. It's a 3.
All right. Yep. So I'll be able to capture that purple next time, which will give me the 3 purple. You can capture the yellow, give me that yellow. Next time I'll be able to upgrade 2. We can bump you up to a 5, which could then start getting rid of some of these reds.
Yeah, so that'll give us just enough time. It's nice how that worked out.
That worked out good. I like it.
Okay. So it's over to you for your turn. I did my 2 actions.
All right. Since I can't do upgrades, I could probably put out my last die.
You can.
And with the path we have going on right now, I should probably spin some tiles first. So I'm thinking let's spin a couple of tiles and let's go down and then back up. So we'll probably do this tile.
So now this is a strategic decision here. Where do you think our last tile will be, right? So
I was
like
thinking
if you go clockwise here, right? Basically these are the 6 tiles that we have remaining kind of our play space.
Right.
So if you go clockwise around this versus counterclockwise versus a zigzag, it will totally change the end game.
Oh, well?
Oh, absolutely. Because look where we have our towers. So remember, if you make more time, if you have them spend more time down here, then we'll have more time, basically, to prepare our towers for the inevitable onslaught that will be monsters coming for them.
So what are you thinking?
Well, that would be telling, now, wouldn't it?
All right.
Oh, this one's.
Yeah.
So you can rotate that one.
Oh boy. Okay. I just had a little AP here. I am trying to think of what to do and where to do it. Because my initial thinking is moving these 2 to point them down.
Okay. So then basically we're essentially going to go around this. Yep. And then this is going to be our last tile.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
And if they walk off of there, then we'll lose. Now, you notice how there are no dice surrounding that tile. So we would then have to place dice to protect that tile.
Yeah.
Whereas if you chose a different path, you could make the last tile maybe this tile, and there are already dice surrounding it. So that would give us more time to upgrade those.
Okay.
So it's all a trade-off, right? Resources versus time, right? If depending on how we rotate this, we might buy ourselves enough time to be able to upgrade those tiles.
What we could almost do is loop them around like this and make this one our last tile.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Well, what you could do is almost just do a complete circle there and make that one your last tile.
That's true. It would be a little harder to capture monsters on those two tiles. Yes.
But they're working their way through this, which we already have dice on.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm thinking that may be the thing to do. So we want to maybe do this one. I kind of like that, how you kind of just talked me through that. And maybe I talked it through myself and I just...
Maybe I'm just going along for the ride, right? You never know.
So
okay, so that's 1, 2.
We're going to go...
And you have another action.
So we're going to go like that. And then I'm thinking we probably want to maybe get... since this is our whole end section, this would probably be the best place to put a die. So this way we have all of those single tiles to work with.
Sounds
and
good.
Just put heavy over there because they're going to come down and then back up to this one. So this way they'll be hit along the whole way there.
I like it.
All right.
All right, so we've both done our 2 actions. So monsters are going to move.
Flip it over.
So
monster move.
Our monster in the front is going to move first.
So he's going to go 3.
He's going to go 3, and I'm going to immediately capture him.
This one will go 1. I can immediately capture him. So this way we're good there. And then we can go 1, 2, and he'll go 3.
Yep. Then we have these red guys in the back. 1, 2. And the yellows. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I'm starting to kind of think that we should maybe upgrade your tower here to a 4 so we can get some of those yellows as they're in the forest, but...
Right.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up.
That could be one of the upgrades that I do, because I can do 2 upgrades next turn.
Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 1. I'll capture that one. 1, 2. And 3. There we go. Take your monsters.
All right.
So what do we have? Oh,
I can actually.
And you have 2 upgrades yourself?
Yes, I have 2 upgrades myself from what we just did.
Excellent.
So that will actually leave you maybe with
Excellent.
a little bit more flexibility.
So I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on the plan that you proposed last turn.
All right. Okay, I'm ready.
And literally it's a spin because I'm going to spin tiles. Right? So I'm going to actually take this one up and I'm going to rotate it up like that.
Oh, I gotcha.
And I'm going to leave all the rest of them.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take the rotation tokens off. That is going to be our final tile, right?
I like it.
Basically, we wind through the crystals. We're not really going to use the crystals other than for buy us time.
Right. I
and
see
then
what you're doing.
This is going to be our last.
Yep. I like it.
Our last guy right here. Actually, I guess to make it easier. Essentially, if they walk off of this tile onto the portal, they form the loop.
Yes.
Which would open a huge portal.
Which would be end game.
Which would be end game. So we can't let them leave here. They can rest on there for a turn, right? Like they'd rest on there, and then we could capture them before they broke camp for the next day, essentially. But if they successfully get off there, then we lose. So that will be my 1 action. For the second action, I think I want to upgrade one of these towers that's near the end.
Yes.
This is kind of like a safeguard. So I'm actually going to sacrifice a dice for that.
I think we got a good dispersion of dice right now.
I think I'm going to go this guy. I'm going to push him up to 2. There we go. And so those are my 2 actions.
All right. So on my turn, we don't need to spin anything around.
Nope.
So we don't even need to do that. So if you can't, do you have to? I'm taking your 2 actions are optional.
All 2 actions are optional, absolutely.
Okay.
We will get to the point where basically we've spent all our resources, we've placed all our dice, and we're kind of seeing if our strategy worked out as the monsters march through.
It's kind of like tower defense. I like it.
Who would have thought? Yeah. Co-op tower defense on a board game? That's ridiculous.
So I can upgrade 2. So I know we want to upgrade my red 3 to a 4. I don't know if we want to take it up to a 5 or not. If we take it up to a 5, we need to get up to a 6 to start doing the reds.
And it's actually not going to help us with any of these reds that are over here.
So I'm thinking we might want to
Let's see, how many monsters do we have left in the bag? I think we have 2 more rounds of monsters coming out left in the bag.
So we already have 3, 4, 7 yellows that have already been drawn. And I'm trying to count.
Yeah,
Am I cheating?
Yeah, I see this. No, that's not cheating.
Did you start to see the strategy that I was forming here?
Strategy. That's, yeah.
So I'm trying to do some cube counting. We will say I'm trying to figure out if it's worth upgrading this past a 3 or to maybe bump this up to a 4 to get it ready to a 5 to start catching some of these yellows as it comes around.
Yeah.
Or I could even bump this up to a 5 to catch that red as it comes through.
That's very true.
But we need something to catch this yellow as it's moving through.
That's true. And we'll have a little bit of time. So if we see how this yellow is going to go, it's 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 1 turn.
Yeah.
2, 3. So potentially 2 turns.
To get this up to a
1, 2, 3. Potentially 4 or
Yeah.
5 turns before this red would have to be upgraded by 1.
Right.
So I'd say that's a pretty good chance we'd be able to do that.
So I'm thinking bumping this up to a 5.
All right. And that will cost all
6 of my
There we go.
cubes.
All right. Monsters
We'll actually
move.
be able to catch the red.
Monsters move. So this yellow monster is going to move first.
Yep.
1, I control the purple dice. I'm not capturing that
Yep.
one. I'm going to let him run. 2, 3. Red guy comes along. 1, 2. I will capture that guy.
Definitely.
And then these guys way in the back there.
All right. We're going to go 1, 2. And then the yellows will jump ahead 1 more spot.
Okay. And then these red guys are going to move. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right. And if you do the honors.
I will.
Summon those monsters.
You don't have that many more
Now
monsters
some of the
in here.
sneaky backstory on this that we don't actually have published in the manual is the queen is actually summoning these monsters. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Man.
Yeah, she's actually...
That's rude.
Yeah, I know. She's testing us, but...
Okay, cool. We got some purples and yellows. We're going to be able to clean some of those up, I think.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2.
And I'll capture a yellow. And then you can capture a purple.
1, 3, 4.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. All right. We can take our monsters that we captured.
Take the yellow.
Okay. So what do we have? We kind of have an upgrade here between us. I could use a red. Now
I can throw you a yellow.
You can throw me a yellow. Now this is this combination where I have basically 2 purples and I'm combining a red. It's actually kind of like slightly overpaying for a tower, right? Like I'm saying, I have a preference for 1 tower this turn, as opposed to look, we could just capture 1 more purple and 1 more red, and we get 2 upgrades.
Okay.
Right. So it's like it's essentially you're saying I want more now and less later.
Right.
Right. If we would do that. So considering that all our rotations are pretty much done, we don't have to worry about rotations. We don't have any towers to place, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much just a discussion of, do we think it's worth it to spend this to upgrade one of our towers right now, or do we want to wait a turn? So do we really think that this is going to make, is this really going to make an impact for us this turn? Or is it just going to be like, one of our towers is going to gain 1, but it's not really going to do much for us?
Like you were saying last turn, that we're going to upgrade to a 3, which is going to catch that yellow, but we need to start working on some of these other towers because we're going to have multiples coming through here.
That's true.
Because when you move these 2 reds over here, that's only going to capture
one
of
that's
those
correct.
reds. So
that's
1
correct.
red is actually going to get through here.
That's correct.
And we don't have any of those up higher than a 2.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple of turns to do that.
Yeah, so if we have the time, I'd say we wait.
Yeah, I kind of agree because you do have a purple coming up here, which I'm going to be able to snag 1, 2, 3, 4. Not next round, but the round. Not this round, but the round next round.
Sounds good.
And by then, hopefully we can grab a couple others.
All right. Well, in that case, let's save these resources for later, and let's let these monsters walk. So this yellow one's furthest down the path. 1, 2, 3. And then these yellow guys go. I'm not going to capture one of those either. 1, 2, 3. There we go. These red guys. 1, 2. And I will capture
Snag
one of those.
And then we're going to go 1, 2, and then he'll move 3.
These guys. 1, 2. Whoop. Almost escaped. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, do we have any monsters still in the bag still? We do. One more spawn round.
Something.
One more spawn. One more spawn.
Let's see what we have coming out. All purples.
Dun, 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 dun. No.
Oh, it is a straight mix.
It's an even Steven
even
on this one.
distribution.
I will capture that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
1, 2.
I'll grab a yellow.
1, 2. Now what this means is we have no more monsters to summon for next round, right? So in that case, you might actually, for the next round, you might actually want to use this red tower to capture that purple one because you're not going to get another chance to do anything else with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So, all right, let me take this guy. I'll take this guy.
I'll grab my yellow one over here.
All right. So I have 2 upgrades. Here,
Yep.
let me give you that yellow.
Sure.
You have an upgrade. And let's see where we want to apply these. I was thinking we were talking about this red tower in the back.
I think so. I think that'd probably be a good one to upgrade there.
All right,
That one's
so
looking pretty good.
let me push that to a 3 and to a 4. So that gets us almost to the point where you can capture those red ones. Definitely can capture this yellow one as it's walking by.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if we want to. I wonder if we want to bump that up to a 6.
It would help us capture
maybe
these red
capture
monsters
something-
in
yeah,
the forest.
yeah.
That's
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Right now, this purple dice can only capture
Capture
the
the
yellow
yellows,
monsters in the
yeah.
forest. But yeah, we could help out in the forest.
I think that I'm torn between that and starting to upgrade one of our final dice here to get it up. I'm thinking we don't have anything that far along. This guy's going to capture some of those. These will take a couple of turns to get there.
Yep.
Upgrading this would let us get that red guy out of the way now before it moves on.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking let's upgrade this one now, and next round we'll start working on one of those final die. So I'm going to hand you those 3.
All right.
Let's change that to a 6, and then I think we are on to the monster move phase.
Okay, let's let those monsters move. Here we go. 1, 2. You can capture that one right there. These guys are going to move. 1, 2, and 3. This guy.
Well, we could have captured it there.
1,
We're not
2.
going
I'm
to.
actually going to let it go. Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1. You can capture that purple.
Yep.
2, and I will capture one there.
Yeah. I like it.
And then we got the guys in the back.
And we have 1, 2, and I'm knocking things everywhere. And he's going to move 3.
Yep. And then we got these guys 1, 2, and I'm assuming you want to capture this guy.
I think I want to capture that guy.
That's the
definitely.
only guy you can capture.
Yep. There we
And then
go.
these guys move.
All right.
So that's it. There's no more monsters in the bag. So that's what we got.
Let's see what we're going to be able to clean off here.
Yes. Okay, so we technically have one upgrade between the 2 of us.
Yeah.
If we really want it. Do we think we need that upgrade this turn, or should we save it for next turn?
I'm thinking, well, here's one thing. There are no purples left on the board.
There are no purples left on
So
the
we
board.
are not going to be able to complete that without a red.
That is a very good point, which essentially means
So we either use it now or we use it next turn. I'm thinking, let's go ahead and use it now.
let's go ahead and use it now. What do you want to upgrade?
Do we want to start maybe turning your blue die over to a number 2 and starting to upgrade that?
I think that's,
Since that's a final
highly,
die?
highly reasonable.
Yeah.
Highly reasonable. Let's do that. Here we go. 2. Toss those in the game box. And that's pretty much all we need to do right now. We don't have any more resources, so let's let these monsters move. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I will capture this one over in the forest. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you want to grab those?
Sure. 1, 2. 1, 2. He'll move up to 3.
These
And then we got
ones
those
back.
2 in
1,
the corner.
2.
All right.
Okay.
So we got a lot of reds coming through right now.
We do have a lot of reds coming through, and I'm not sure how much. This tower is probably not going to be able to protect us against all of those.
No.
So I expect that we're going to have some that are escaping into our kind of final maze area, as it were.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of stuff coming up here.
This is true. Again, we have this decision of do we want to do an upgrade, or do we want to wait? This time we don't have purples. It's just red and yellow that we're looking at. So let's see. If we get this to a 3, then potentially both of these could capture yellows next turn.
Right. There's going to be a couple of yellows coming down
Yeah,
the
we
road
have
there.
these 2 yellows. Basically, those 2 yellows could be captured.
Because the reds are going to take a little while to get through there.
They are.
But these are the 3 that worry me. Because we have a lot of negative 1s around here.
Yeah.
But although we did upgrade that, so as they move there, we will be able to capture one.
This is true, but some are going to get through.
Some are going to get through. I'm thinking we probably want to throw that 2 up to the blue 2 up to a 3. Are you kind of thinking that?
Yeah, I think that's a solid plan.
I mean, that probably makes the best play, I think. Right before that last tile, let's start working on that die and get that one up there.
All right. So monsters move.
Yeah, monsters are going to move.
1, 2, and before he completes that loop,
Yep.
he's captured. 1, 2, captured.
Right.
1, 2, 3, and I will capture this guy.
2.
1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, our dice
2.
that are only strength 1 now aren't actually
1,
doing
2.
anything
No,
for us, right?
No,
So
they are not. They are just kind of walking
green
through
guy.
there.
Yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
But we are able to upgrade.
We have another upgrade.
Another upgrade.
Another upgrade. What should we do?
So do we take that 3 to a 4, or do we take that 4 to a 5?
Or we could wait 1 turn. What's going to happen in 1 turn? Are we going to lose in 1 turn?
I don't think so.
Right, because we're going to be able to capture this yellow.
Yeah, and you have a yellow,
And
another yellow
then
coming
we'll
up.
capture one of these guys. So I don't think we're going to lose next turn. Why don't we save this upgrade for 1 turn? That way, if we capture 1 yellow and 1 red, we'll get 2 upgrades.
Right.
So that will give us more choices, more future opportunities.
Yeah. No, I like that. That is a good idea. I see where you're going. Yep, that kind of just hit me. All right.
All right, let's do that. 1, 2,
capture.
captured. 1, 2, and 3, and I'll grab one of those guys.
Yeah.
1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, so here we caught exactly our quota.
Yep, our 2 upgrades.
1 upgrade for each of us. Well, I'm thinking the obvious thing is to get this guy to a 5.
Yep, agreed.
So let's push that guy up. There we go.
And we want to take the 3 up to a 4.
Couldn't hurt.
I mean, let's do that. So this way he can get to a 5 right before the end with the next 2 reds coming through.
Couldn't hurt. There we go. Okay, let's let these monsters move.
All right.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Now, do you want to capture him or do you want to let him keep moving? You have an option here.
I would say let's capture him because the reds aren't going to make it up there.
That's true. They're not going to be there this turn.
So
right before these guys break camp, I will capture one of them.
I like that.
1, 2. 1, 2. And 1, 2. 2.
All right.
All right, there we go. So we got our monsters.
Yep.
We don't have enough for an upgrade. We can't do any of our other regular build actions, so we'll let them move again.
Now, with the 1 yellow that's left,
yes.
I don't think we are going to be able to
Oh,
upgrade.
you're absolutely right. We only had the one
We
yellow.
only have the 1 yellow. So, yeah,
Okay.
we're not going to be able to,
Well, at least we took him off the board,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because I was going to say, there's no reason to throw 2 reds with him because 2 reds alone will get you an upgrade. So, we are pretty much just left to capturing those last reds.
All right, so these guys are going to move. That guy gets captured. 1, 2, and I'll capture one of these guys here.
Yep.
So there we go. And now we have another upgrade.
So we have an upgrade.
Yeah,
so probably taking the 4 to a 5.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. That makes sense.
And I think we might have just kind of got this figured out.
I know. I think
we might have this one.
skated by here. So here we go. 1,
capture.
2, 1, 2.
Yep.
All right, so that one's captured. I can do another upgrade just for funsies.
Sure.
Why not? Here, let's go get that to a 6.
Yep.
Boom.
I like it.
And monsters move. 1, 2,
2,
captured right
1,
before it walks
2.
off in the end.
There we
He got
go.
to the end tile.
He did.
You saw that, right? He got
I
to the end tile.
saw him there, but we said you're not moving any further.
Yeah, we stopped him. So
I liked it.
Yeah, that's
That
a
was-
success. That's a success. Now, mind you, he got to the end tile. That's on normal mode, right? That's normal mode.
I was going to say, okay, so how do we ramp up the difficulty?
That's a great question. So pretty much, if you remember the distribution of monsters that we had at the beginning of the game,
Right.
we had an even distribution of reds and yellows and purples.
Yeah.
And so basically the way we play with the difficulty is we decrease the number of purples
And increase reds.
Yeah, exactly
Yep.
right.
Gotcha.
Exactly right.
Okay.
So that basically means with increased reds and decreased purples, you have less opportunities for those level 1 towers to capture anything.
Yeah. So you got to get your towers built up faster. You almost need to place more things end game just to move your monsters around and then just start picking them off. But you almost need a middle and end game and almost skip the beginning. I'm guessing in that point.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're really going to have to essentially think out the strategy much more.
You really do, because what I just said, by trying to do middle and end game, that's fine. But you really don't do any upgrades till you get the monsters off the board. So that's the whole catch-22.
Yeah,
you're not going to upgrade anything until you start removing the monsters. But if you build for later on in the game, they're going to be moving through everything, so you're not going to be able to upgrade till later on, which is going to slow you down there. So yeah, there's a good mix you got to play there, I think, in strategy as far as your die placement, when you start upgrading and what you upgrade.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
we're definitely trying to make an interesting problem for groups of people to solve.
Yeah.
It's 2 to 5 players, so
I like it, and it's a really nice. It's nice strategy, nice co-op. Some good thinking. I hit a little AP right in the middle because I kind of froze up there trying to think of what to do. So it definitely gets your brain going some, and it's easy to learn. But I can see there's a lot of strategy to it.
Yeah,
I mean, because
actually-
that was very easy teach. This is something you can throw down at a board game night and say, okay, not turn this out with a 5-minute teach, but yet it's a nice length of a game to play.
yeah, absolutely.
So I like this. This is definitely cool.
Absolutely, yeah. We had a lot of fun with putting together basically the pathing for
Yeah.
this game. That was actually one of our biggest challenges in the design phase. As you can imagine, one of the inspirations for this tower defense board game was tower defense computer games.
Yeah, I see that.
Which I totally enjoy, and which I can play those with family members that are
Yes.
all the way out in California, right? So we can interact a little bit. And I said I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the kind of like geometry puzzle that comes with those
Right.
types of games. And so I wanted to recreate that, and I did some research on like what other board game designers were doing as far as their pathing, like how are they getting monsters to move around the
Right.
board and that type of thing. So, and what I noticed is a lot of it was essentially straight line pathing.
Right.
So monsters, they just walk from point A to point B, in part because basically no one wanted to solve this problem of how do we get monsters to move in some fashion that lets the player dynamically change that direction.
The interlocking tiles are genius in that aspect, as well as being able to place your dials throughout the board. The dice throughout the board in between the dials is really cool.
Yeah, we liked it from a
that's
teachability
nice.
standpoint.
Yeah.
There is no question on this map of where your towers are supposed to go, because literally it's a square cutout for your towers right in the board.
So when you play with more players, does that just give each player less dice?
Yeah,
Do
you're
you just
actually...
disperse it so then if I would just get 2 and somebody else will maybe get the
That's
reds? Is that kind of what
actually
you're doing?
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So the 2-player and the 4-player exactly mimic each other.
Okay.
So our actions are going to be halved, right? We each were taking
Yeah.
2 actions. In the 4-player version, we would each be taking 1 action,
Okay.
but you'd have 4 people. And then yes, the number of dice would be split, and our starting resources, we each had 2 starting resources, those would also be split.
Okay.
Now for the 3-player and I guess the secret 1-player version that
solo.
we have.
Solo mode. Nice.
We have the secret 1-player version.
Those are sometimes cool. Sometimes I don't like to play solo games often.
Sure.
But sometimes when I do, it's like if my wife isn't available, or if I want to do maybe a stream or something and she isn't around.
Yeah.
If I can knock out a solo game or something, it's nice when games have that. But
Yeah,
how do you do that?
So the 3-player mimics the 1-player. So essentially, in the 3-player, each player gets 1 action,
All right.
and in the 1-player, that 1-player gets 3 actions.
Gotcha.
Right, and the 1-player gets the same resources as
Okay.
the 3 players would have. That type of thing. Now, the 5-player, on the other hand, is a little bit of a different balance. It doesn't mimic one of the
you
other
can go
two.
up to 5.
Yeah, you can go up to 5.
Okay.
You're not going to start with any kind of like pre-captured monsters, but everyone will get 2 dice. The one thing that we'll have is the number of tiles that you can rotate in the 5-player goes down to 1 per player per action, right? So essentially, you're going to be spending more of your time rotating tiles because each person can kind of do less.
Right.
That's essentially
Now,
it.
what about dice? How do you divide up the dice in a 5-player?
That is an excellent question because we had 8 dice to start off with. So
I'm sitting here. I'm like
8 divided by 5.
I was like, hang on.
This is,
I know math is hard, but even I'm that good to know
This is
that
an
that does not
excellent
equal
question,
out.
and we solved it by magically
2 more
producing
dice.
2 more dice. Yes.
Okay.
So this is basically the cost of the 5-player is an extra player manual and 2 more dice.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
So we thought that was reasonable.
That does it.
So now the other thing that I actually have here to show you is so I said that was normal mode.
Right.
So the game can get easier, like you're adding in more purples and taking away reds.
Okay.
And it can get harder, meaning you're taking away purples and adding in reds. That's kind of the basic way that you can make the game easier.
And I have a feeling I know where you're going to go next because I see you have more
Absolutely.
tiles.
Absolutely. We do
and
have...
I have a feeling I know what you're going to flip over here.
We do have more tiles here. So these are some of the tiles that come with our bonus edition. So here we have this is a snow tile.
Yep.
So this is essentially
Perfect
like a
time
forest.
for that. With all the snow that we have on the ground up here in Northeast Ohio.
Absolutely. So it's essentially the same effect as a forest, but it will also slow monsters down. So it'll give you a little bit more time. If you're playing on hard mode, that might give you a little more time.
That's kind of neat. I like that.
Time. This is a broken portal. That's what we call it. So what ends up happening is a monster that lands on this is actually going to get zapped by the portal and put back into the monster bag, and you're going to draw a new monster to replace it. So if a monster comes in and you're thinking, oh, here we're by the end game, right?
Right.
And I have this, let's say I have a purple monster or a yellow monster, right? I'm going to be able to capture that guy really easily, right? I just have 3s over here, right? That's not going to be a problem. I'll just capture that with one of my towers that's a 3. And this guy goes on into the broken portal and gets, zapped. He goes back in. He comes out as a red. Good luck. You have a little bit of a problem there, right? You're gonna have to design your strategy over here with the understanding that you don't have complete information about what's passing through.
He could randomly change there. That could definitely get rough. All right.
Another thing that we have.
That one looks interesting. What does this do?
These are local portals. So this would essentially be a substitute for you'd take out 2 grass tiles and you'd put in the local portals for grass. So this is essentially a monster that enters here. See how this does not have an arrow? That's because
he's going to teleport.
He's going to teleport. So basically, if they started here in the crystals, they'd do 1 step, 1, 2, and 3.
Gotcha.
Right. So it's kind of a little bit of a local teleport. We actually do have. We include basically a local portal for grass, for trees, and for crystals. So potentially, you could have 6 portals on this board.
Wow.
You could be jumping all around. I wanted to make sure that if people wanted complexity, they could find complexity.
And that would be really difficult because depending on where you placed them, it would be very easy to overlap.
Yeah.
And lose the game that way by having them retrace over their steps. So, wow, I can see how that could definitely ramp up the strategy there in the brain thinking there. Yeah, that's just thinking about that's making my head hurt. Holy crap.
And then the last special tile that comes with the deluxe edition, this is a maze tile.
All right.
So essentially what's going to happen here is monsters that wandered into the maze are going to get lost, right? So let's say we have our 2 red guys, and let's say we have evil guys.
Okay.
So our 2 red guys are going to wander in, and they are going to get lost in there on their turn.
Okay.
And since they're going to get lost, they're not going to move. But in addition, they can't be attacked in there. Think of this as like a covered kind of area, right? So even if we had a tower that had a 5 strength, it's not going to be able to attack in there. So they're essentially safe in there. But they're not going to be able to leave until one of their buddies comes in there and helps show them the way out. So it's at the beginning of the turn, if there are at least 3 monsters, then they can find their way out. So, for example, if this happened on one turn, and then this guy moved, and then we'd have another turn. Okay, now at the beginning of the turn, there's 3 monsters in there. They will all leave together.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much going to happen.
I like that tile. That's a neat one. So that would be something that you would almost hope would come up possibly early game to maybe clog up some of your purples and stuff.
That's true. You could definitely use it as a clog, right? To kind of clump those guys together.
Interesting.
The other thing you can use it for is actually for, I guess, strategically leading monsters in there and then changing the path.
Yeah.
So you could do something like this. If you actually had a rotation token still on this crystal right here, you could once you had let's go back to our previous scenario where we had our 2 reds over here. If those guys wander in, well, you could rotate this
and just
tile.
leave those 2 stranded there.
1, 2, 3, right? So those guys are never going to be able to find their way out.
Yeah.
And if they're there, and by the end of the game there's no other monsters, well, they're just They're toast.
So is that what happens? If you can clear off the rest of the board with those two stranded and
you're
a dungeon,
fine.
that's
That's
okay.
a win. That's
nice.
a definite win.
Interesting. Okay. I like the different changes that you have to it. I can see that it can definitely ramp things up. And I like the different cubes you can add in to adjust the difficulty too.
Absolutely.
You should probably make this even, playable for younger children. What's the age limit on this?
So right
What are you
now
guys
we're saying
playing
10
in?
plus.
Okay.
Definitely not for like 3 or under because it has small parts.
Yep, agreed, definitely.
So definitely for 10 plus. I think I've actually played it with a 6-year-old, and he managed to get about halfway through the game before table flipping. So that's kind of like that's kind of an estimate. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, there we go. This is Obelisk Deluxe. And where can people find this?
You can actually find this on our website at ahgames.shop. And you can find us on Facebook. I think it's Obelisk Tower Defense.
Okay, cool.
So like us on Facebook and follow us.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining me here today.
It's been a pleasure, Joe. It's
All
been
right.
a pleasure.
We're going to call this one quits, everybody, and we'll be back streaming in a little bit with another game here at Cleveland ConCoction. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you later.
Take care now.